I think I'm live. I never know. This is what's so much fun about the live, right? Hi everybody, my name is Andrea. And today, well, welcome to Tuesday Talks. So today we are going to talk a bit about sleep. So last week we talked about hunger and how hunger works, and we touched on hormones. And that's the reason that sleep is really, really crucial. So you may have heard before that you need to be sleeping in order to effectively manage your weight. And this is very, very true. They've done a number of studies. What does Robin say? I'm always sideways. Really? Really? For everybody, am I sideways? Is that better? Is that better? Better? It's so funny. My husband always says, okay. My husband always says that I have to, better, okay. I have to do it sideways. So I do it sideways, but I'll put it this way. All right, back to sleep. So sleep is critical for weight loss. Thank you, Robin. So they've done a number of studies, and they've shown that people who received less than 7 hours of continuous sleep consumed 300 to 600 more calories the following day. And there's a couple of reasons that for this. The main reason is hormones. So remember how we chatted last week about how our endocrine system releases hormones to register our feelings of fullness, right? Well, a couple of the hormones that are involved in hunger and satiation are leptin and ghrelin. When we don't get at least 7 hours of continuous sleep, some studies say 6 to 7 hours of continuous sleep a night, leptin, which is the hormone that makes us feel satisfied. We get this sense of satisfaction. That goes down, okay? So we feel less satisfied with the same amount of food the following day if we haven't got enough sleep. And the second hormone is ghrelin. And ghrelin is the hormone that tells us that we're hungry. Well, that goes up. So if we don't get enough sleep the night before, our ghrelin goes up, making us feel hungrier, and our leptin goes down, making us feel less satisfied. So if you're finding one day that you're feeling really, like your appetite is really up and you're constantly hungry, that might be why. The other thing is that having a lack of sleep also increases cortisol in our bodies. Now, cortisol, we've heard a lot about that out in the media and whatnot. And so that is also increased with a lack of sleep, and that lowers metabolism as it also increases the fat deposition around our abdomen. And the reason that we're concerned about carrying extra weight, particularly in our middle, is because it increases the chance of cardiovascular disease, or increases the risk of cardiovascular disease. And it also, having more cortisol makes us crave simple carbohydrates more. So there is very much a physiological reason why lack of sleep results in an increase in appetite. So I love this quote by Dr. Jeff Greenberg. It says, overall, sleep is a crucial factor in losing weight. Sleep suppresses your appetite and raises your metabolism while allowing your body to rest and recover. And that's another reason that sleep is really important. For people that are trying to be active and live active lifestyles, we need to be getting enough sleep in order to recover from that activity and to repair. Yeah. So the other hormone that is involved is our growth hormone. So during sleep, the release of the growth hormone by the pituitary gland is also increased, which allows the body to heal, repair, regenerate, and build muscle. So sleep is really important. Now, how much sleep? How much sleep do we need, right? And I know, I think it's important to also note that for some people right now, sleep is a tricky thing. We've got a lot going on. There's a lot of stress for many people with isolating, not working, financial stress, etc. So we've got to be easy on ourselves, but there are some simple things that we can do to improve our sleep. So first of all, what's our target? We want to aim for 7 to 8 hours of sleep per night. Trying to go to bed at the same time and wake up at the same time can help many people get a good night's sleep. And that even means on the weekends. So I know that it is nice to sleep in on the weekends, but the experts tell us that if we're able to get up at the same time every day, even Saturday and Sunday, that we will be better off. It doesn't mean that I always do it, but I have to share the research with you, right? So here are a couple of tips for getting a great night's sleep. 5 minutes of wind down time before bed. Okay, so just chilling out, not going from busy, and then expecting to get right to sleep. Reducing how much alcohol, caffeine, and heavy meals we have in the evenings. Often people will say to me, well, I shouldn't eat past 7 because then I'll gain weight. And that's not actually true, but at the same time, you don't want to be having a really large meal and then be digesting horizontally. It doesn't feel great and you won't get a good sleep. The caffeine affects some people more than others, so you've got to figure out what works for you and what doesn't in that regard. Calendar reminders to go to bed 30 minutes before bedtime. Anybody that uses Fitbit, for example, not Fitbit, Apple Watch or Apple phone. Like I've got an iPhone. That's what they're called, not Apple phones, okay? iPhone. I'm able to set a bedtime under my alarms and it will tell me it's time to rest and recharge, and then it syncs with my Fitbit so that it's bugging me. Hey lady, it's time to go to bed, right? So that's one way of doing it. We get busy sometimes and we lose track of time. So having a reminder to get us into bed is a great idea. Leaving your phone outside your bedroom. And so, some people will use it as an alarm and whatnot, but they do find that leaving the phone outside the bedroom is a good idea. Again, just because I'm sharing all of these things with you doesn't mean I do 100% of them. I don't find it an issue to have my phone in the bedroom, but some people do. So it really, these are just ideas for you to try. And if you're getting a great sleep, then just keep on doing what you're doing, okay? But just know that every time that you are getting a great sleep, it's really helping with all of your weight management and health improvement efforts. Shutting down screens an hour before going to bed. I think that we've heard that one, right? Quite a bit. And getting outside for natural sunlight during the day. I had heard that if you can get outside around 5 o'clock every day, even if it's just to stand outside on your porch, that resets our natural circadian rhythm, which I found very fascinating. I learned that at a mindfulness workshop when I was in Anaheim last year. So they recommend at 5 o'clock every night, just be outside, even for just 10 or 15 minutes, makes a big difference. You can choose to do purposeful relaxation exercises before bed, and keeping your environment nice and tidy and a little bit cool helps with a good night's sleep as well. If light bothers you, you can use an eye mask or use blackout shades to make sure that your room is nice and dark. And some people really believe that using the snooze button is a bad idea. Just don't use the snooze button. As soon as you hear it, you get out of bed. Again, this works for some people, but it doesn't work for everybody. But it's something that you can try. I had a friend who she gave up she was doing a 40-day challenge, and she gave up her snooze button for 40 days. I don't know that she ever went back. She said that she felt so much better throughout the day. She felt more energetic and more well-rested. So that's an idea that you can try. Have an elaborate bedtime routine if you find getting to sleep is tricky, because there are some people that are able to get to sleep, but then they will wake up throughout the night and find it hard to get back to sleep at that time. Other people find it difficult to get to sleep. So if you're one of those people that finds it difficult to get to sleep, then having an elaborate bedtime routine that you do, maybe it's a bath with lavender and some reading and whatnot, then that will really, you will condition yourself. Once I have a bath and I smell those Epsom salts, now I start to feel sleepy. It won't happen in one night. It might not even happen in 2 weeks. It takes some time to establish a routine and to retrain our brain. Other ideas are trying some restorative yoga or gentle stretching before bed. Wake up with the sun. That's tricky here. I appreciate all of these recommendations. These are all from Precision Nutrition, these ones I'm sharing with you today. However, in Alberta, that is pretty early some days, so during some times of the year. So you depending on where you live, that may or may not fit for you. And then some people choose not to use screens outside of work hours. They put the screens away, so that way they're not having that right before bedtime in the evenings. So you need to find what works for you, but ultimately our goal is 7 to 8 hours a night. If you find that you are not getting a good night's sleep, here's a beautiful, I have a personal example I can share with you. Mother's Day, my husband made me beautiful tiramisu with espresso, fresh espresso, and I decided it would be a great idea to have a piece of that at 11 o'clock at night. So, number one, heavy, rich thing to eat right before bed, and it was full of espresso. So needless to say, I got no sleep that night at all. I was tossing and turning. Well, yesterday, my appetite was up. It really was, but because I knew that I had a bad sleep the night before, first of all, I made sure to get into bed early last night, and then I just filled up with lots of high volume foods. So I made sure that I had really large meals, but they were bulked up with lots of veggies so that I wasn't tempted to eat other things. So be gentle with yourself if you know that you've had a bad night's sleep, and then maybe try some of those tips and let me know what works. Yeah, let me know if any of those works. Let me know what you're doing that's working for you, and maybe that'll help other people too. Just share them in the comments. Thanks everybody. See you next Tuesday.